everyone, it's yours truly Tosin Akitoku back with another episode of Nollywood Movie Review. How are you guys doing? I have missed you so much. Okay, now you notice that we're shooting from a different location today. It's the beautiful Blowfish Hotel in Victoria Island, Lagos. It's lovely. So whenever you're in town in Lagos, make sure you come to their hotel. You're going to love the service, you're going to love the ambience, and you're going to have a real good time. Okay, so I've got that out of the way. Let's get the show rolling. Guys, make sure you turn on your notification button. That way you'll be able to get our up-to-date reviews as we upload them. Make sure you're keeping an eye on all our social media contacts. So that way you'll be able to follow us on our social media contacts, and that way you're getting the latest information on the fantastic movies that have been released this year. Also, please don't forget to drop us a comment. Let us know how you're finding the reviews. Thank you so much for those of you that have sent messages. Thank you so much for those that have sent emails. Thank you for the support. You guys are just awesome. Okay, so I've got fantastic movies this episode. And the first movie we're going to talk about is a Yoruba movie titled 1 Hour. This movie was produced by Abiola Adebayo and it was directed by Shodunke Ayuba. It stars Abiola Adebayo and it stars Femi Branch. I'm going to stop for a minute and have you watch a clip of this fantastic movie.
You are everything a man could possibly need. You give me peace of mind. You give me a beautiful child. A beautiful home. I thank God for you.
Thank you.
And Timbato Tuayewa, I will choose you over and over and over and over again.
Oh, thank you.
I love you, darling.
Thank you. I love you.
Fellow make arrangements for lunch.
Okay.
Mi ò mọ̀ bóyá kí n bá yín náà get nǹkan tí ẹ lè jẹ sà. Mo ní mi ò mọ̀ bóyá kí n bá yín get nǹkan tí ẹ lè jẹ sà.
Èyí tó bá mi get njẹta. Àbí èyí tó get fún mi lánàá. Ilé ọ̀nà gbogbo pálapàla bẹ̀rẹ̀.
I'm sorry, sir.
My friend, will you?
Right, that was 1 hour. This movie is so good. I need to actually, stop for a minute and explain what I mean about when I say this movie is actually really, really, really good. Biola Adebayo is such a talented Yoruba actress. I'm sure you've seen her in many movies. But I think in terms of movie production, we're starting to see an influx of female producers in Nollywood, both in Yoruba and English movies. And we love this because they're coming in with new ideas, they're coming in with new concepts, and they have a fantastic way they're interpreting their stories, and they're actually making waves in terms of the Nollywood movie industry now. So this is a production by Biola Adebayo, and the way this story is interpreted, it's so beautiful. Now, ladies, I'm sure whilst you were watching that clip we just showed you, you were kind of thinking to yourself, what would I do if this happened to me? So the story really centers around relationships. So we have Femi Branch that acted, the role of Biola Adebayo's husband. They had this perfect relationship. Everything just looks so good. You're going to actually say to yourself, this is actually too good to be true. And then lo and behold, there's a tragic accident and her husband dies. And this is where the plot develops for this movie. Now, the death of the husband, she's mourning, she's having to deal with the loss. And then we find a surprise family that just shows up, and this woman's world is just thrown upside down because she's now obviously aware that her husband had an extramarital affair whilst he was married to her. Can you imagine? I think a marriage of 13 years or something like that. And this man was clockwork. He would come home on time. He would, he never really went out late. And she was struggling to find out where he had the time to really have this extramarital affair. And not only an affair, there were actually 2 children from that affair as well. So the revelation and how, how this widow dealt with the whole scenario is really what this film is about. And it was beautifully acted in terms of delivery. I think Biola Adebayo actually pulled this one out of the bag. She pushed herself to the limit when she was interpreting this role. You actually feel the pain. You're actually putting yourself in that situation, trying to think about what you would do if you found yourself in similar circumstances. No, fantastic movie. In terms of movie directing, Shodunke Ayuba has directed quite a few movies, and I like his concepts. I like the way he puts his spin when he's coming in, when he's interpreting his own storylines. You actually, when you start watching the movie, you don't know where they're taking you. You think you do, but then they take you on a different plot, twists and turns, and at the end of the film, you actually come to a very pleasant surprise as to the whole ending and how everything just kind of really worked well together. No, this is a good movie, and I think right now we actually want more of these movies such as this from female producers. Not that we don't like male producers, but we're starting to kind of feel the vibe with our female producers that are really coming on board with their ideas. So 1 Hour is such a good movie. In terms of the acting skills, it was on point. In terms of the editing and plot and everything, in terms of the storyline, and it really, it started and ended beautifully. So you don't have a movie that's got multi-parts, part 1 to 20, like you see in some movies. 1 Hour starts and just ends beautifully. No, this is such a good movie, and I would actually say well done to the team. So if you're looking for a nice Yoruba movie, a good storyline, no frills, does what it says on the tin, 1 Hour would be your movie to watch for this weekend. So our second movie for this episode is Oma, My Wife. This is a beautiful story. It stars Mercy Johnson Okojie, and it stars Chinyere, Ubah, and Pope Stanley. We're going to stop for a minute and have you watch a clip of this movie.
You made her sleep with another man all because you were desperate for a child.
What have you become?
Let Annie eat anyone who has eaten from me in secret and in open. Let calamity upon calamity for anyone who has come.
Hey! Somebody help me! What do you want to me? What do you want to do to me? Hey! Hey! What have you done?
Oma, you should be happy I came to help you. For 5 years you have failed to give Olisa a child.
How? You can't go. Swear that you do not know what happened to my children.
Swear that you do not. Stop it, Oma! Stop it!
How dare you shout at my wife!
Did you bath with the 7 heads of black soap?
Yes, I did! I did as you instructed!
Can't you see that Olisa has turned you into a slave?
Chief, am I complaining?
Let me stay and be your slave.
God suffer lamb.
The pot.
Thank you.
You must not touch the ground.
My water pot! My water pot! I kept it there, madam. I kept it there.
Do you want the pot to touch the ground? Just calm down and talk to me.
The water pot I left on the motor the other day, did you let it touch the ground?
This movie is so beautiful. This film was directed by Nonso Zozie. Now, with Nollywood movies, with good movies that are actually, the good Nollywood movies, the good Nigerian movies out there, you kind of are now getting familiar with the directors and the producers we're naming, because with a good piece of work, the same name keeps reoccurring. Nonso Uzozie, we have mentioned him a few times whilst doing our review programs in terms of his work, his directing skills, and how he just tells his story in terms of the cultural movies and bringing his angle in terms of the movie, the script interpretation. This movie was exceptional. It's a cultural movie that looked at the story of Oma, who found herself in a difficult situation within her marriage and her relationship. She kept having children, and the children would die sadly immediately after following childbirth. And this went on for quite a period of time until there was the revelation came that the person that was actually behind her predicament was someone that was really, really close to her. So this film is really about betrayal, is about pain, is about loyalties that are just kind of broken, friendships that have been that are broken, and it's really kind of looking at how you deal with difficult situations that you encounter within a relationship. Mercy Johnson Okojie, she actually played the role of Oma. She went through a period of self-discovery, of being maltreated by her husband and the family, their husband's family, and trying to find her identity within this marriage and trying to find a solution to her problem. And the funny part is the person that was actually trying to be really helpful in terms of, let me help you solve this problem, was actually behind the problem. Now, in real life, how often do you come across that scenario where the person that is actually helping you, the person that seems to be helpful, might actually be the person behind that predicament? So, Oma, My Wife is a beautiful movie. Now, I just want to take a minute to talk about the costumes and the setting of this film. It was really, really good. Now, Mr. Ozozie, the director, he knows his stuff, and he, when he's working with cultural movies, he makes sure that he pays attention to detail. Setting, the location, the costumes, everything was really, really good. Now, in terms of the storyline, this movie, it's really in about 5 or 6 parts, but trust me, you're not going to be bored. It's very fast paced. The plot develops very quickly, and they engage your attention. So they're really trying to capture the attention of the audience in the way they're telling the story. No, it's beautiful. Mercy Johnson Okojie, as usual, she delivers. I've actually not seen a role that Mercy Johnson Okojie will play and you think, oh, maybe she didn't really do well. No, she always delivers. She brings her A game on set, and she makes sure that when she's interpreting the role, she's putting her best in it. In terms of the character played by Chinyere Ubah, who was the friend that really wasn't a good friend, at the end of the movie, we found out that she was the one that was actually, behind all the issues, and she even ended up marrying her friend's husband. I think Chinyere Ubah, in terms of coming up in Nollywood, what she's perhaps trying to do now is have a variety of roles, and I think she really pulled it off in this movie as well. She delivered. So in terms of a fantastic movie, I think Oma, My Wife would tick all your boxes in terms of production, in terms of plot, in terms of the setting, the costumes, the storyline, everything just really, 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 really worked well together in Oma, My Wife. And it starts off with a problem, and you actually see the way they're carrying you along in how they eventually come to a resolution of that issue at the end of the movie. And you know what I really love about this movie? At the end, you're actually learning a lesson. So I don't like movies that leave you hanging. So you flow from the beginning, and at the end, you're not really sure what the message they were trying to pass across to you. Oma, My Wife is not like that. You start beautifully, you follow the plot and the storyline, and at the end, there's a very good moral, there's a very good lesson, it's quite educative, it's quite entertaining, and you will definitely take something away from this movie. So if you're looking for a nice cultural English Nigerian movie to watch, Oma, My Wife is our recommendation for second top rated movie in this episode. Okay, that's it. It was done and dusted. I know it went really, really fast, but we've got another episode wrapped up. So the movies we talked about today, 1 hour, produced by our very own Abiola Adebayo, and we looked at Oma, My Wife as well, which starred Mercy Johnson Okojie, as well, and directed by Mr. Ozozie, the multi-talented Mr. Ozozie. Those movies are available on YouTube. If you're really keen on watching them, you can find information on YouTube, or you can actually check our social media contacts as well if you need further information on any of the movies we talked about today. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. You've been awesome as an audience. Whatever you do with yourself for the rest of your day, please look after yourself and stay safe.